New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Yes, as the thousands cheer. It is time once again for another fun-filled throwback and yes, guaranteed exciting edition of Friday's Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am the Reverend Michael Mangus, and I am broadcasting this evening from the exclusive radio room inside the highly secure concrete bunker that Reverend Jeff Radcliff thinks he knows where it's at, because I had to give him my address last week for a check. He has no clue where the top secret bunker is located, and we're going to keep it that way. Well, we do have a wonderful show for you tonight. Like always, again, please feel free to interact with us. We are live if you're with us at 8 o'clock Eastern. However, for some of you who are shy, and I know you're out there, send me an email during the week, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. I do read them during the week. And again, thank you so very much for the good and the interesting feedback that sometimes I receive. pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. So the purpose of our fireside chat here is to talk about contemporary issues from a New Thought perspective. And again, as I keep saying over and over again, I want us all to have a new thought about what is going on in the world, and that we all have a part to play in it. We're all one, as we say at our centers. So if we are all one, then we have the power and the authority through the one power to make this world a better place, one person at a time. And we can do that. And so again, the views and opinions expressed are not of my own, are of my own, and not those of the New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or anyone else. So again, these are my thoughts, my opinions, but I want you to use them, though, to think about what is happening here in the world. Well, tonight we have with us, live from his secure concrete bunker somewhere in Tennessee, with his wonderful dog, the Reverend Jeff Radcliff will be with us here in just a few moments. Jeff is an ordained divine science minister, and also he did a wonderful job speaking last Sunday for our 24th anniversary of Summit Center for Spiritual Living. So thank you, Jeff. That was wonderful. People are still saying nice things about you. And I do have something to talk to you about. Yes. It's not that bad. Jeff Radcliff at the bottom of the hour. Okay, this Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday. How many of you really care? Are you going to watch the game? So what is more important, the Super Bowl or the commercials, which advertisers have to pay upwards to $7 to $8 million per 30 seconds? That's a lot of money there. So what is more important here? The Super Bowl or great party food? The Super Bowl or the Puppy Bowl? That's where they have the cute puppies on a small football field. The Super Bowl had its own section in CNN or on the CNN website. However, I didn't see story 1 on the main page. Interesting. Well, whatever you do, have a great Sunday watching the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs in Las Vegas, Nevada. Who do you think's going to win, Jeff? The 49ers? Oh, Kansas City. Oh, okay. Well, he's going to explain his answer at the bottom of the hour here. I think, though, how many times are we going to see pictures of Taylor Swift dressed in Chiefs colors? For those of you who do not know, Travis Kelce is an all-star player with the Chiefs and Taylor Swift. They are a couple. So Taylor Swift has been attending Kansas City Chiefs games this year. And I think she's made more of a stir than the Chiefs. And also, next Wednesday is Valentine's Day, and also Ash Wednesday, which is the start of the Lenten season, leading up to Easter on March 31st. Maybe Reverend Jeff has some interesting thoughts about Lent from a New Thought perspective. We will talk to him at the bottom of the hour. All right. For some of you, this is the most favorite portion of the show, which is the news. In the presidential race, special counsel Robert Hur, he released a report on Thursday saying that President Joe Biden willfully retained classified information but will not face charges. He wrote that one reason Biden, 81, was not going to be prosecuted was because he would present to a jury as an elderly man, or be presented to a jury as an elderly man with a poor memory. So President Biden, in a speech, forcefully rejected what he said were inappropriate and incorrect statements about his memory lapses. But just minutes after defending his cognition, the president misspoke and called the president of Egypt the president of Mexico. Oh, come on. Close enough, huh? Close enough, huh, Jeff? Mexico? Egypt? Oh, yeah, whatever. A moment that undercut his forceful pushback against the report. Meanwhile, Donald Trump arguably had his best day of 2024 on Thursday after he won the Nevada Republican caucuses. He also received a signal from the Supreme Court that most of the justices will likely side with him on his case to appear on the Colorado ballot. Okay, 2024's presidential race is heating up. It did not help Biden at all yesterday with the memory slip-up. Please pray for the United States, as Ernest Holmes did and as I do, and go and vote this year. Make sure that if you haven't voted recently, that your registration is up to date. And you can check with your local election officials, or you can check with the secretary of the state that you live in. This election has consequences, like they all do. The reason that we have a conservative Supreme Court was that number 45 was elected president in 2016. He went ahead and nominated 3 judges. And that's the reason why we have a conservative court now. Think about something. Do you want a dictator running the United States next year? That is something to think about. In other news, a Senate panel grilled pharmaceutical CEOs in a hearing on Thursday about why prescription drugs have higher price tags in the U.S. than in other countries. The chief executives of these 3 major pharmaceutical companies, Johnson & Johnson, Merck, and also Bristol Myers Squibb, or Squibb, I think it's Squibb, Bristol Myers Squibb, acknowledged that certain medications can cost thousands of dollars more in the U.S., but argued it is due to the complexities in the American health system. They also testified that U.S. patients get access to prescription drugs much faster than those in other countries, and it requires a lot of revenue to develop these drugs. And that innovation comes with high cost, of which the American consumer has to pay it. So as someone who is older and on a few medications, we all need prescription drug reform in this country. I think, and again, this is my view and opinion, is that we need Medicare for all. It would not be that difficult. We already have a government agency in charge of that now. And locally here, a large venture capital firm is trying to buy one of our local hospitals, switching it from a nonprofit to a for-profit. I wonder if that will improve health care in our area. From the articles that I have read, the answer is absolutely, positively no. Again, something to think about here. There he is, dressed in his Pope white, Pope Francis. He has harsh words for critics of the LGBTQ blessings. He said, "This is hypocrisy." One of the missions of Pope Francis's papacy is to make the Catholic Church a less judgmental and more affirming institution. Critics will say that he has not gone far enough, while conservatives believe that he has crossed the line. In January 2024, a Vatican document approved blessings for same-sex couples. Many took issue with this change in policy, especially clergymen in Africa. The Pope had strong words about the pushback in an interview with an Italian Catholic magazine that was published on February 8th, 2024, and he calls his critics hypocrites. He said this, the Pope: "Nobody gets scandalized if I give my blessing to a businessman who perhaps exploits people. And this is a very grave sin," Francis states. "But they get scandalized if I give a blessing to a homosexual. This is hypocrisy." While Francis has defended the blessings, he also pointed out that they do not mean that the church formally approves same-sex relationships. The official doctrine is that gay sex is a sin, but that same-sex attraction is not. The Catholic Church believes a person with these feelings should try to abstain. Yes, you're in right. Okay. When a couple comes forth spontaneously, the Pope said, to ask for a blessing, one does not bless the union, but simply the people who together have requested it. Not the union, but the persons, said the Pope in a separate interview on January 26th. Francis hopes that critics will eventually come around to the blessings. He acknowledged the special circumstances that African priests have to face, and in many African countries, homosexuality is illegal and punished with jail time or even death. I feel confused. So, if the Catholic Church does not recognize same sex weddings, why is there a blessing set over it? Now, as someone who does a lot of weddings in our area and who has worked with Catholic couples, there is a provision that the priest, if the couple is getting married by a judge or another minister at a location other than the church, the priest who went ahead and supervised the couple during their pre-Cana premarital counseling, that he can petition the bishop or the diocese for special permission to give a blessing at the wedding so that the couple would be in steps and in right relationship to the church. Again, I feel confused. Finally here, I'm saving I have two more stories. This is going to be my final one for this one, but I have one for Jeff Radcliff. Here he is. This is Alistair Begg. Many of you do not know of him, but he is a pastor of a 20,000 member church in the Cleveland area called Parkside. Okay. Alistair Begg is the host of Truth for Life radio program. He's been caught in what is called a storm in a teacup over advice that he gave about attending an LGBTQ wedding. That advice, he said in a sermon this past weekend, was based upon Jesus's command for Christians to love even those they disagree with or disapprove of. Begg said this. He said, Jesus said that you are supposed to love your enemies. And Begg was drawing on a series of biblical texts to claim that Christians should show compassion and not condemnation for those who have gone astray. The sermon was in response to a controversy over comments that Begg made during a promotional interview for a book last fall, which recently went viral on social media. During the interview, Begg recounted talking to a woman whose grandchild was getting married to someone who is transgender. Begg, who opposes vehemently, there you go, same-sex weddings. I mean, he's even gone on the program and said some not nice, very not nice things about the LGBTQ community. He went ahead and said this. He says, go ahead, Grandma, and go. Your love for them may catch them off guard, but your absence will simply reinforce the fact that they say that these people are what I always thought, judgmental and critical, the evangelical pastor said. He also added that Christians would have to take risks in order to show love to those around him. Now, Begg's comments got him thrown off of the Shepherds Conference, which is a form of Reformed evangelical pastors, that he got uninvited by California pastor and author John MacArthur because of his comments. American Family Radio, an evangelical broadcast network, dropped Truth for Life, a program that's based upon Begg's sermons, last week after his advice resurfaced and went viral. So what happened is that Tim Wildman, president of the American Family Association, hosted a special broadcast explaining why the group parted ways with Begg. Wildman said that the ministry got calls complaining about the broadcast and reached out to Begg, whose radio program has appeared on ARF for more than a decade. So he called up Pastor Begg, and he said the goal of the call was reconciliation, but reconciliation with the truth, said Walker Wildman, an AFA vice president. He added that Begg refused to back down from his comments, which Walker Wildman compared to a dad offering to drive his alcoholic child to a bar. Mr. Wildman, this has nothing to do with that. You are comparing apples with kiwi fruit. All right? It's not a very good comparison that you made. He said that to a different person in different circumstances, he said he might have given different advice, but he has no plans to repent of his advice, no matter what happens on social media. Begg also said that he was glad to give his advice to this grandmother rather than his other sermons about sexuality had gone viral. He says, because if I've got to go down on one side or the other, I'll go down on this side. He said, I'll go down on the side of compassion. Alistair Begg and I are 180 degrees opposite as far as the Bible and Christianity are concerned. I worked at a government job with someone who was hired at Parkside as a part of their pastoral staff. And that Alistair Begg based his counsel upon the example of Jesus that's written in the New Testament. And he's receiving heat from other evangelicals and even his own staff. As my late Bishop Carlton Pearson would say, he said, side with love. And Begg has a reputation of being an expositor preacher, or someone who goes verse by verse through the scriptures. And over and over and over and over again, it is written in the Gospels that Jesus had compassion on the people. It will be interesting to see what happens at Parkside with Begg's position there. When controversy hits the fan, it's easy to get rid of the pastor, like in the case of Rob Bell, Carlton Pearson, and others, instead of having a deeper examination of the issue. And that is the news. I don't think Jeff Radcliff will have anything to say about it at the bottom of the hour, will he? Will you, Jeff? Not at all, will you? We're just going to talk about snacks for the Super Bowl, right? Yes, you're right. All right. I wanted to let you know, we're going to go do some announcements here. And then afterwards, then we're going to go and have a wonderful conversation with the Reverend Jeff Radcliff. I saved a story for him that I think is interesting because we're both radio broadcasters, and this is a good one. So wait for it. It's coming up. So I'm giving you a teaser here on the New Thought Media Network. All right. So what is going on here is that this weekend, yours truly is parked at summitcsl.org. For more information, please go to that web address, summitcsl.org. And then what you can do is you can also get our Zoom room number and the password and come and join us. We are at 10:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Pacific Time. It is a great gathering. And so I invite you to come. If you do not have a home or kind of in between places that you're going, please join us online. It is a great time. And this Sunday, we'll be having my very special guest, the Reverend Dr. Carol Ann Drick, who is a noted educator and also expert in holistic nursing. And she's been my friend for several years. She'll be speaking this Sunday at the summit. So again, join us online, summitcsl.org. Guess what? The boss is back in town. Oh, I'm happy about that. Safe and secure from the wilds of Kenya. Robert is back, and that we are going into the month of February, and that we still need to raise the budget for this year. If you could help us, please, if you go to ntmedia.org/donate, please consider giving a very large one-time gift or a one-time gift that you feel good about giving. I'll leave it at that. Or two, do like I do, and that's give a monthly sustaining gift. That is what we pay our people off of. That's what we get equipment from. We pay our bills off of that, on the money that we know for sure is coming in. So again, please assist us. You get that double blessing, that blessing of giving, and also that blessing that you know that this message is reaching the world through this group of ministers and practitioners that, again, are dedicated to being a worldwide place for individuals to come to their own awakening, to discover that they are not alone. There's other people here that will help them and to bring forth the light that's within them. So that's ntmedia.org/donate. All right. We're going to have a short break. Let's see who's in the comments tonight. Here's my boss, Diana Mangus. She says it's confusing. I think she's talking about the same-sex blessing. And she also said that compassion and love should always lead the way. Well, I agree. How wonderful. The only reason she's watching is because you're on, Jeff Radcliff. That's the only reason. All right, we'll get to that after our break. This is the Friday evening fireside chat here on your, and I mean your, New Thought Media Network.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
It was a treat. It was a bonding. It was a celebration of men. It was a celebration of men who want to deepen in their spiritual awareness of one another, of themselves.
Welcome. We are a brotherhood of spiritually minded and open-hearted positive men. We invite you to join us.
And I came in knowing one person. I left knowing all of the group. And I feel like I came in knowing meeting strangers, but knowing and leaving brothers.
Come experience the New Thought Men's Gathering, Foundations 2024. Friday, March 15th through Sunday, March 17th. With Reverend Robert Brzezinski, Reverend Patrick Creelman, Reverend Eamon Duffy, and special guest musician Jamie Lula. In Vernonia, Oregon, at Camp Cedar Ridge. Learn more and register at www.newthoughtmens.community.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
And I was correct. The only reason that Diana is watching this evening, she doesn't usually watch this program. But this evening, because you, Reverend Jeff Radcliff, are on, she's watching.
She's got great taste. What can I say?
Okay. This is my complaint against you, my friend.
All right.
All right.
I'm better looking than you are. I'm a better speaker than you are. I'm just all around wonderful.
You are.
Why do you have a problem with that?
I don't. I really don't. Hold it. Here is someone who you know.
Oh, Mindy. Hey,
Yeah.
Mindy.
He's laughing already.
Mindy and I went to school together like 100 years ago. So we go way back.
All right. So you spoke at our anniversary, our 24th anniversary Sunday last week.
And it was a blast.
And you did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
And you got an honorarium for it.
Mm-hmm.
When I ask for an honorarium from Diana Mangus, she says no to the blank. I think she likes you, Jeff.
Dude. It is what it is. What
she
can I
gives
say?
you an honorarium, and she doesn't give me one. Oh, hold it here. Hold it. Absolutely. All right, Jeff Radcliff, any comments about the news?
Well, first of all, you can try to blow smoke all you want to.
Yeah.
When it comes to the location of the super secret concrete bunker.
Right.
But you actually did give away the location.
No.
You don't want to admit that you did.
How?
And I'm not going to disclose it, but you did kind of give it away. So all I can tell people is that you're down in the basement. So which basement?
Now hold it. Now hold it. Now hold it.
You're in the doghouse
A lot
already.
of times, though, I'm in the doghouse.
Yeah. The doghouse has a basement, right?
The doghouse has a basement. Yes. Well, Jeff, what do you think about the news this week?
Not much. Not much. Particularly when it comes to I've got several windows open so I can switch back and forth and make notes. Alistair Begg. First of all, he's Scottish, which is where the name Alistair comes from, which is awesome. You know, I like that. In the article that you sent me to read, and I had already read about him, I'd read a different article, but I had not read this one. In this article, there was a link, and I don't typically follow links in news stories unless it's something that really, really interests me and I want to learn more. And this one I clicked on, and what came up was a blog by a man named Owen Strachan. I don't know how to pronounce his name, called Grace and Truth. And this particular blog post was titled Unrighteous Wedding Invitations, a Loving Response to Alistair Begg. Well, that sounds really, really nice on the surface. Until you get down
Sounds
through there
passive
and you
aggressive
start
to
reading.
me. Yeah.
When you start reading what he had to say, and then when you get down to the bottom of the article, and then you've got the people who have received the article in their email and they're commenting on the article. This man and some of his followers who commented may have spoken softly, but they were carrying a hell of a big stick because they lambasted Pastor Begg something fierce. They talk about grace, but yet they offer none.
Right.
They talk about a loving response and then say some of the most hateful, anti-Christian statements. I kind of got dizzy trying to go back and forth and understand where they were coming from. I still don't know. They're paying lip service to Christianity without following it. They want to call themselves by the name Christian, but yet don't want to live according to the principles of the Christed one who claim to follow. One of these things is not like the other, and Jesus is here and they're over here, and it's no wonder he gave a parable about the end times and the sheep being separated from the goats and the good people from the wicked people, and he's gonna say, hey, I was hungry, you didn't give me anything to eat. I was thirsty, you didn't give me anything to drink. I was naked, you didn't give me anything to any clothes to wear. You didn't take care of me when I was down and out. Well, when did we see you like this, Lord? You never knew me. Go away. You just never knew me. So while they're out there fearing for our immortal souls, they really need to worry about their own, because what they're doing is not living up to their standards.
I know this may surprise you, but I actually read the Bible.
So do I.
Yeah, right. And I do not read this kind of hatred against anyone, even the people who put him to death. I do not read any of that. And for individuals that went ahead and just said, listen, what Alistair Begg did was he gave his pastoral advice based upon love and compassion. He said, make it real clear to them, I disagree with what you're doing. However, I love you, and that I'm here to witness again. I'm here just to witness an important event in your life. That's all he said. And his own pastoral staff is giving him crap about it.
He's getting the same thing that Pope Francis is getting right now. He's getting it from his folks as well, just because he wants to bless somebody. I mean,
but my question here, Jeff, is this: how can you how can you go ahead and to bless people and not it represent the blessing of the union?
That's another good one that I have no answer for. I genuinely am puzzled by that.
Priests do give blessings. They do. And again, like I said before, is that if you, let's say, for example, Joe and Jane want to get married at the local winery. All right. So they go ahead, they go to pre-cana. The priest will not do the main service. However, after the minister or officiant does their part, the priest can come up and give a Catholic blessing, which will still allow the couple to attend and to receive all the sacraments. So my question is, if you're doing that kind of blessing, isn't that a blessing of approval?
On the face of it, it sure seems to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Mendy, who is our staff theologian, she says, my mom always said we are not to judge.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also said, my daughter told the priest to shove it. Oh, I bet you there's a good story around that.
You have to know that family to appreciate that.
Oh my. Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
I found a couple of things that I thought were interesting. I actually posted them on my Facebook page earlier today. One of them was a quote from Rumi, and it says, "Love said to me, there is nothing that is not me."
Wow.
Love being another word for God, spirit, the divine, whatever you want to use, whatever term. There is nothing but me, which I like to hold on to. Emma Curtis Hopkins, the great New Thought teacher, said, "To love is to see God in all."
Wow.
That's what I think Alistair Begg is doing. That's what I think Pope Francis is doing. Their critics are not seeing God in the others because they have othered them. There's a really good book by a United Methodist bishop. I think he's retired now. His name is William Willimon. And the book is called The Fear of the Other. Fear of the Other. And basically that's what it is. He's talking about how society has pushed and marginalized some people, put them over in a corner. We don't deal with them because they're not like us. We don't have to love them because they're not like us, which is diametrically opposed to what Jesus said.
Absolutely.
Which he said, love God and love your neighbor as you love yourself. And he said those were the only two commandments that you needed to follow. Those nice 10 things that Moses brought down on the tablets off the mountain, those were good for a while, but these two that I'm giving you right now supersede all of that. Love God and love your neighbor. When you do that, you fulfill all the other ones.
So what was the name of the book that you recommended on Facebook?
Oh, Fear of the Other.
Well, it was another one.
Oh,
another pastor. Wasn't like Reconciling Jesus or something
Oh,
like that.
you caught me too quick. I'm going to have to go back and look. Well,
again,
I offer so many book recommendations that they all tend to gather, they all tend to like.
So a book that Jeff recommended, I actually downloaded, and it was by
race me, see if you can.
I'm talking on the air. You can go ahead and look if you want.
Yeah.
So the pastor there, former pastor, said this. He said that, again, when he really, again, examined the teachings of Jesus and put it into a cultural perspective. For example, turn the other cheek. All right. So for someone to hit someone on the right cheek, they would have to backhand them to hit them on the right cheek. If, again, that they were of a lower class of people. So to offer them your left cheek, again, is a nonviolent way of saying, do you respect me? Can you, because what you're about to do is culturally wrong. So you see, from that perspective, taking a look at scripture, whatever religion that it is, and taking a look at the times in which it was written, and looking at the symbolism and what was behind the words of Jesus. Again, there's this literalism that really has ruined, especially here in the U.S., it has ruined the evangelical church.
Yeah. The book that you asked about, I live in the moment, and you're referencing something that happened 3 days ago.
Okay.
This is my Easter. This is my third day. It was a book by Herb Montgomery, and
Yes.
it was called Finding Jesus, a Fundamentalist Preacher Discovers the Socio-Political and Economic Teachings of the Gospel. And I have not read it yet, and I said in my post that I hadn't read it yet. I said, looks to be a great read about the real Christed one and not the white Republican Jesus of today's evangelical movement. And Mr. Montgomery, the author, actually commented on my page, and he said, he said, you're correct about what it's not. And I hope you find yourself to be correct on the it's a great read part too. So it looks to be a great read. I'm looking forward to it. It is on my to be read list, but my to be read list is as long as both my arms and half of your arms too.
We're talking this evening to Reverend Jeff Radcliff. This is Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. Okay, Jeff, I saved the best for last here.
We were going to talk about. Are we going to talk about Lent as well?
Do you want to talk about Lent quickly?
Just have a couple of things to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Lent.
So what are you going to give up?
Let's eliminate negative thinking. Lent.
Oh, so I don't have to give up chocolates or anything else.
I posted on this a couple of years ago. People are talking about how difficult it is for them to give up something for 40 days. What you're doing is you're arguing for your limitations. It can't be that difficult. What you're doing is allowing that particular thing or activity or whatever to be replaced with something a little more spiritual, to only draw you closer. Well, we're already one with spirit. You can't get any closer to it. We just kind of think that we've moved away from it. The practice, that I like to do, let's give up negative thinking, or giving up anything for Lent, is to draw your attention back to the fact that you and the Father are one. So I found a couple of things, and one of them is actually from Pope Francis. He said, what do you want to fast this Lent? And he said, fast from hurting words and say kind words. Fast from sadness and be filled with gratitude. Fast from anger and be filled with patience. Fast from pessimism and be filled with hope. And there's a few more things there. There's also another, and I'll post it again on Wednesday. Once we get to Ash Wednesday. Another thing that you want to give up, a few things that you want to give up: doubting yourself, the negative thinking, fear of failure, criticizing yourself and others, negative self-talk, things of that nature, people pleasing. Give those things up. These are the things that keep you separated from other people. These are the things that in your mind you are doing what Bishop Willimon wrote about. You are othering people. You're putting them over in a corner away from you because, that's not what we're about. That's not what we're about. We're about oneness. We need to be about love. And that means giving up the negative thinking, finding our way to reconcile ourselves to other people.
Okay.
So
I've been waiting to share this story with you.
okay.
Okay, okay.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
A 200-foot radio tower mysteriously vanishes in Alabama. Stealing, no.
Oh, get thee behind me, Satan. I want to make an Alabama joke now. Oh, I can't.
I know.
I don't want to other them. I don't want
Okay.
to other them, but Alabama.
All right. The article says stealing is bad. We all know that. However, sometimes a thief is so masterly that it transcends our moral system and becomes impressive. And I would argue that this is the case with the theft that took place in Jasper, Alabama, where unknown thieves recently ransacked a local radio station, stealing everything inside at the transmitter site, including a 200-foot stainless steel radio tower that had to be cut down and carted off via unknown means, which I think means the aliens did it, okay? But anyhow, the local news outlet, WBRC, first reported on the theft, which impacted WJLX's AM station. The station manager, Brett Elmore, first learned of the theft last Friday. Why couldn't you know that your station wasn't on the air? Because your tower is down. I don't understand. Okay. But
he obviously
I only have not one, but I have 2 FCC licenses. Okay. But I must admit, I don't know everything. All right. But the GM said that when a group of landscapers who were sent to work on the property reported back that it had been robbed and that the radio tower was missing. Wow. Elmore said he couldn't believe what he was hearing. He said the tower is gone. Elmore told the local news agency. I said, what do you mean the tower is gone? Are you sure you're at the right place? He said, the tower is gone. There's wires everywhere and it's gone. So the author reached out to the Jasper Police Department to confirm the details of the theft provided by Elmore. And we here at the New Thought Media Network will update this story if it responds. How in the blue Hades can you take down a 200-foot tower, even if you went ahead and you had welding equipment to go ahead and to take it apart, to put it on a truck, and you mean nobody saw it? Reverend Jeff Radcliff.
Well, first of all, I'm as I'm listening to you tell the story, there is embedded in that article a video of them actually interviewing Brett Elmore.
Right.
Let's put it this way. If he worked for the company that I used to work for, he wouldn't be working there anymore because they were real sensitive. The general manager, my program manager, even the sales manager, they all listened to the station. They were like MAGA followers watching Fox News,
Right.
24/7, 365.
Right.
And they knew when we were off the air for whatever reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for him to say, what do you mean the tower's not there? How do they not know? Is he not listening? Was he not listening?
Why in it, or why in, okay, so let's say it was automated or computer operated. All right. Usually what happens is that there are alarms that go off and that are usually sent to either the program director or the engineer to say that something's wrong. How can you say that a group of landscapers went ahead and found it and you did not know it was off the air?
Well, here's something, and I'm not sure I understand this. This is the little scrolly thing. I forget what they call it at the bottom of the TV.
Right.
Yeah. The news anchor is saying that the radio station is still broadcasting on their FM band,
right,
and online.
Okay,
but so maybe this was their AM tower, not their FM. So that what they must have been doing was simulcasting their AM signal on the FM as well.
Right.
And that's why they didn't know.
Yeah.
But still, if you're broadcasting your AM on your FM as well, somewhere along the line, you had to have known because you've got your FM station on the FM.
And you're
going to have your AM on another.
You have FM. Alarms. Listen,
yeah.
You listen. If you're the station owner or you're the station engineer or the program director, is that if you are in, it sounds like this happened during the daytime, that when they came in, there were alarms going off that if it didn't go to their phone, that there was, I just can't believe it. Hold it. Mendy has solved the problem. Okay. Mendy says he sold it.
Oh, and if
I'm not going to say
in a Cadillac that
I'm not going to say anything. I have my suspicions too, but I just thought, I said, I got to share this with Jeff, because how can a 200-foot tower just disappear like that?
Because I had been at our transmitter site on a couple of occasions, and what did they do? Did they cut it off down at the base and then have the whole thing just topple over like a tree? Or did they get up and dismantle it a little at a time? Because I'm thinking 200 feet straight up in the air, for me, who really does not deal well with heights, ain't happening.
No, what they did was they cut the cables and then it fell down. Jeff Radcliff, we're out of time, like usual. We will always have you back, my friend. Thank you so very much.
Okay.
Thank you for being on the good side of Diana. That means that hopefully she'll be nice to me, but
well,
we don't know that. But hopefully.
But she's my favorite Mangus now.
Oh, she's my favorite Mangus now. All right. Well, thank you, Jeff Radcliff. We just appreciate you. Thank you for being on the show again. And that is our show. Again, thank you so very much for joining us. If you could please check out our page, ntmedia.org. And thank you all for your support. I know that many of you do financially support our ministry here. And so thank you again. We get cards, we get letters, we get emails from around the world saying how much that people appreciate our network. So again, be a part of that. Be a part of this worldwide movement of love through ntmedia.org/donate. On behalf of all of us here at the New Thought Media Network, including my returned boss, the Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, this is Reverend Michael Mangus. I'm going to wish you a very pleasant good night. and have a wonderful week.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.